Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Pillars and the M, where we talk about tech and everything else. Everything being everything I like. But yeah, guys, today we're talking about the mistake I made in my first interview. There were a lot of mistakes, guys. Let me tell you that. Mistakes, I made a lot of them. But I learn and I proceed. And it has worked well for me. I have been denied a lot of interviews, and I have gotten a lot of interviews. So let me tell you what happened. Okay, let me tell you. First mistake I made, I talk too much. It can be an advantage or a disadvantage. But for me, more often than not, it becomes a disadvantage in an interview. Reason being, I talk too much. I talk about things I should have not said. Then they ask me questions based on those things. As we progress, the interview becomes technical. And sometimes I cannot articulate myself well when a subject matter, because when something, when you are in school and someone is in the industry and they ask you something, you can say it, you know it, but you haven't done it to the extent, like industry wise, you haven't done it. So they will ask you difficult questions that are industry questions. Sometimes, most of the time, not I. In that interview, I couldn't answer it. I couldn't answer the questions they were giving me. So that was tough. That was the first mistake I made. I talk too much. Sometimes in an interview, you need to answer what they're asking you, especially when we are not sure about the subject matter. Answer the question and move. Where you feel you are most comfortable, you can talk more. But make sure whenever you're talking, you're comfortable with that subject matter and you know it. I remember I was asked a question about how do I connect the database and Java. How do I connect it? So I didn't know the answer. I have connected Java before. In school, I used to make Android apps. So we use Android Studio and we connect it with Firebase. But how you do it, I could explain how you do it, but this guy was asking, what do you use? He wanted a specific name. Right now, I know it's the Java API that you use. But at that point, I didn't. So now I'm here. Remember, they asked me a question, and I said I used to make apps, blah 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 blah. I went on about. Then he said, "What language were you using?" Blah 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 blah. Talked more than I should. It got me to sticky water, hot water, not sticky water. I'm thinking of mud, but hot water. So there was a problem. Don't talk too much, as I have done right now. But it's a video, it's my content. I can do whatever I want. Those of you who know DMX, it rhymes like that. Okay, that was the first mistake. Second mistake is not taking enough care of my what is this, EQ. EQ being the skills, communication skills, presentation skills, all of those things. Not doing proper research on how to conduct yourself within an interview. That is a problem. When you speak and you speak at a very high pitch, or you speak very fast, sometimes it may mistake the person that is on the other end who doesn't know you. They won't think you are not sure of what you're saying, or you are going to stutter. Oh, yeah, you are not sure of what you're saying. That's why you are going so fast. Or if you are going so fast, you want to get this done with. That's a problem. That's a mistake I made. I do talk fast. Sometimes I do talk fast. But in the sense of an interview, you gotta be calm. You gotta be calm. Another thing I didn't practice, another mistake I made, I didn't practice. When you go online, there are certain questions that they give you. I know when you practice something with your friend, it's not as scary or as serious as with the people that are interviewing you. But trust me, if you get some questions, you haven't seen them before, you get your friend to get some questions, you sit down with them, you prepare yourself, you wear something nice, you wear a golf t-shirt, he or she wears something nice. It becomes, you set the room, you set the environment for you to be in a space where it's serious. Then record yourself and your friend. Answer the questions. I'm telling you, this tip would help you. Sit down with your friend, be foreman, record yourself, and answer the questions. You haven't seen the questions, you are not prepared. Not that you are not prepared, you prepared, but with different questions than the friend you has, because your friend is going to get questions from other places as well. Then you sit down, you answer questions. I kid you not. If you are answering the same question that we have answered before, it's not the same then answering a question for the same time for the first time. It will help you greatly. It will help you greatly. And another thing, I was told there's a difference between arrogance and confidence. There's a thin line between the two, but you need to be able to balance it. You don't want to seem too arrogant, and you don't want to be you don't want to be seen as too confident, of which some people may associate with arrogance. If you are like, oh, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, it becomes arrogance. Like, this guy is arrogant, he's straight out of varsity, he has never done this thing in the industry. I'm talking about people straight out of varsity, because that's when I did my first interview. They will say, okay, this guy is arrogant and blah 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 blah. But you don't want to seem like you're not confident. Same goes back to the same thing I was talking about, pitch and the voice. If your voice is too deep and too low, people will assume you don't have the confidence to be in a space one, or you don't know the answer. Because some people believe that some people are hostile within their teams. They expect the best from their teams. So they want apex predators, to say it in a humble way. So if you get that person, then you have a problem if you talk very low. But if you get someone that doesn't want arrogant people, then you have a problem when you talk with arrogance. So find a way. That's why I say practice before. Practice with your friend and see yourself how you answer these questions. See yourself. Ask someone that you know doesn't have a bubbly personality, or you ask someone that you know that has a conserved personality, or someone that has a bubbly personality. How do I look here? Of course, interviews are sensitive things, especially for us. So sometimes people don't tell a lot of people they have an interview. But for you to be able to prepare properly, you need to communicate with somebody in one way or another. Another mistake I made, I don't ask questions within the interview. So an interview, in a sense, it's they want to know you, why you are the best candidate, and why did you apply for this. So what I've seen as I have progressed in the industry, I've seen that sometimes the other person likes to talk more than you, and the other person, if they are confident with if they are passionate with their job, they will speak if you ask them a question. Sometimes in an interview, I will highly recommend this. I'm not saying it's like the blueprint of interviews, but seem confident but wanting to learn. You can answer a question and maybe ask them to add on it, or if they see it in a different manner. Those are one of the skills I learned within the industry for communication. Sometimes the person, for you to understand what the person wants from you, you gotta ask them. Very simple. Ask the person would answer you. Because sometimes you answer the question wrongly because you don't understand the question. If you understood what you were being asked, you would answer. Sometimes people would ask you, you would use terminologies that are in industry terminologies, which you may not be familiar with. So I highly recommend you ask the person on the other end a question. If you don't understand, ask for them to elaborate. If there's a word you don't understand, say, I might know this word in a different manner, or it might be used. please explain the context of this so that you understand, so you can answer the question. And don't be afraid sometimes to say, oh no, I don't know that as of yet. So I don't have the appropriate answer for that as of yet. So which gives the impression that you will in the near future, or you will learn. This would help you grow. I'm not saying these are the tips that you should use to get an interview, not to get an interview, to pass an interview, but I'm saying they could be in your best interest for you to use them, because I have learned them in my space, and I have learned them. I have been fortunate enough to be in a position to be on the under end of the people that are having interviews. So I was the person who was given a score sheet. I didn't have any questions to ask, but I was there to give input on the score sheet. So people really do love confidence. People love confidence. Like you need to be confident with what you are given. Because sometimes in the industry that I'm in, like in my industry tech, most likely what they will give you, you don't know. But I should have confidence in you enough that you would be able to go and research about it and get it. That requires something within a person, the confidence. Someone told me, a mentor of mine told me, we don't know what you know. That's the problem. And if I gotta get something, end quote, if I gotta get something out of, if I have to push something in production, if I have a deadline or something, I would give it to someone that I know they can deliver. If you are new in the game, you haven't showed me anything, it's highly unlikely for me to give you something that is business impactful now. Like there are certain projects that are needed now in the industry, and there are some that can take time. Those ones you can make mistakes and whatnot, but there are some projects that are impactful in the business now. Those ones, for you to be able to get those are the ones that have recognition. Those are the ones that give you bonuses. Those are the ones that get you a lunch with the CIO, lunch with the CEO. Those ones save business money or make business money. So for you to get those, there's a lot of sharks in here. For you to be able to get those, you need confidence. That confidence, you need it in the interview as well, so that people see it in you. So these mistakes I made when I was having this interview thing, when I had my first interview. And the other mistake I made, because I was doing computer science, it had a lot of things within it. Had databases, it had system architecture, it had software engineering, it had data structures, it had programming, different languages, it had networking, had a lot of things. So with these all of these things in my toolbox, I thought I could just apply, because when I finished varsity, I really didn't know what I wanted to be. So as time progressed, I chose data science, but I didn't know, and I was thirsty. I wanted a job. I just wanted a job. So I applied for different things. So I was so happy to get an interview. I didn't really study the subject matter. You know, when you pass university, you tend to think you know the thing, but you know the course, what your lecturer gave you. You know what the lecturer taught. You don't know everything about the subject matter. You will never know everything. But when you go into the industry, it's much different. It's much different from, It's much different from academics. So if you get a job, if you get an interview for databases, maybe database administrator, do research. What is a database administrator? You might have a vague idea. If you don't know, if you have a vague idea, do research. Do research on the latest tools, the latest techniques used within the space. But when you get to the interview, don't talk much about things you just didn't research on. But show you have knowledge of what is happening in the industry, and you are willing to learn, and you did your research. Also highlight the fact that you did this when you were doing research. What is happening with this thing? Oh, yeah. See, I'm even light skinned without the ring light. The ring light is just a blessing. But yeah, do research. I don't know why this thing turned off, but do research, guys. It's very important for you to be doing research before going to do an interview. Highly beneficial. I recommend it. And another thing I would recommend if you are going to do an interview, if you are applying for a Java dev, go on LinkedIn. Go on LinkedIn, check for people who are Java developers. Juniors, check juniors. They might answer you more faster than the seniors. Ask them how was their interview process. Ask them the questions that they ask them. People sometimes are willing to help. Not everyone will answer you, but this tip might help you. Not everyone will answer you, but you get some insight. What questions did they ask you? How did you go about answering them questions? And don't, if you are black like me, don't just text black people, because that's the problems. One of the problems we have. Don't just text black people. Ask other races as well, guys. We don't see the word the same. We don't answer the word the same. We don't have the same knowledge. Work-wise, life-wise, experience-wise. So getting a view from a different person might benefit you. So don't only text black people. That's where I wanted to go with this. But text other races as well. The insight they have is different from what we have. I'm not saying their insight is better than ours, but I'm saying it would be in your best benefit to ask people. Maybe some people will be more willing to help than others. And please, when you greet someone, greet them in English. I know sometimes we see a surname, then we assume, but greet them in English, speak in English. If you are more comfortable in your native language, you can ask what language do they best communicate in, or if you can communicate in your native language if they know it. This could be a game changer for you. Don't assume things. If my name is Peter Sande, don't assume I'm Zulu. I am Zulu, but it would be in your best interest not to assume. So English is very good. Well, I have a lot of problems today. Okay, guys, those are the mistakes I made. I also gave you some tips, but the mistakes are also said. Because of the problems I'm facing, my laptop is switching off, my phone wants to switch off. Peace and love. If you are still here, hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you for tuning in. See you on the next one. If you have anything else you want me to talk about or you want me to highlight, do like and comment. Leave the comment of what you want me to talk about, or if you have anything you want to share or want me to share. So yeah, peace and love, my people. See you on the next one.